remember there's a fuel leak in that too, wasn't there?
There's a fuel leak in those, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, fuel injector. So I've got to do injector seals. Yep. I've got to do power steer pump. I'm going to set it up so we can do a flush. Because I want to flush it before I take the power steer pump off. Because so many people rebuild a power steer pump and then tip fluid in on top of old dirty fluid. This has actually already got a cooler too, so I don't have to worry about a cooler. So I've got to hook the radiator out and we'll do that flush. G'day guys, Calvin, Coaching Company in New Zealand, doing Alex's truck. We're going to do that power steer pump, we're going to do an injector seal, and I'm going to just throw a cam out on it and investigate because something went through it. A stick or something went around it and the cam timing was incorrect. I corrected it. I pulled the pin tensioner out, I got in there with my little sneaky fingers and I just adjusted it late at night. And it goes really good again, like it should. But to be on the safe side, cam belts don't just jump by themselves. There's always a reason. In this case, it was mud and gunge and crap. Something went down there. Sometimes it's incorrect parts, sometimes it's poor workmanship, washers down there, things like that. So to be on the safe side, we're going to check it. I'm going to start, I'm going to get this out. I'm going to get that power steer pump off because it needs to be rebuilt. And that's going to hold us up with the rest of the job if I don't get that done pretty quickly. Oh, I might do this flush first. I might be able to do it without taking the radiator out. So here we have the power steer reservoir. I've blanked off the return line. I've got an extra piece of hose running from the return line that would normally go into the pump into the container that I stand on. I've got a container of fluid, and now I just need a man to turn the key for me so I can flush the system. Go, Jace! Yep. Yep. Yep, good enough. Thank you. Awesome. There's a litre of fluid gone just like that. I managed to spill a bit. Lucky I'm taking it off.
So you just pre-spill it into the pump and do it.
It's really important to flush these things before you take the pump out. Really, really important. You want to get rid of all that old yucky fluid, whether it's been cooked, and I see some where the fluid's really disgusting. This one's just been leaking, so I don't think there's going to be metal and other crap in it, but it's still worth giving it a flush before you pull a pump off so you know it's got good clean fluid through it. This one has got a cooler, which is vital on four-wheel drives. Really, really important. Especially drift cars. That sort of stuff where you lots of revs, not much speed, working that pump hard, lock to lock. Really, really important, I think, to have a cooler on. So the power steer pump has normally got a nut under here and a bolt under further. This one, and then it's got two bolts down the back here, or down the side. So normally you would have to slip the pump forward, but this one didn't have it had a bolt instead of the stud. It looks like that. You can see leaking really bad there. It's absolutely pouring out. The whole pump is just covered in mud and crap. They look like that on standard vehicles too. Because it's a four-wheel drive, we did block off the idle speed. If it's a factory car, I prefer to use them. If it's an auto, I prefer to use them. But often mounted different in a four-wheel drive. And you'll see we've got a modified high pressure line, which makes it a bit easier to get out as well. And there's what normally dies because it fills up with power steer fluid. And you can see that one has been filled up with power steer fluid. So that one's definitely got an expiry date on it. So this is another one. You can see here are the 2 bolts on the side, there and there, on the side of the cylinder head. And these are different to the VVTIs, are a different shape on the back. And then in here, one's straight in there, and the other one is in there. So the pump has to slip forward. So we've got a stud and a bolt. Do we need the scaffolding? We do actually work on low vehicles too, Jace. It's okay, I've got one. Got one coming for you. Are the other ones looking funny? Like that first one had just disintegrated, eh? Or the back one.
This one was full of rusty shit.
Oh, is it?
I gave a squid out with brake clean.
I've got new baskets if we need new baskets. Should we get them serviced? I'm going to have to write that. I'm going to have to do wiring instructions to link ECU. I will have to do that. Do you know where the fuel filter is on this? This was a factory V6 one. Maybe we should look at getting a fuel filter for it too then. If you've got some ugliness in there.
We'll see what else I find first, eh?
Yeah. So Jace is going to pull the front down, have an investigation of why that cambout jumped. We did have this seal here had climbed inside at some point, so we'll put that down as a possibility. And the power steer pump is getting rebuilt, and we can see the alternator looks like that, which is possibly not ideal. I would suggest another one. No, I have suggested another one. You're not going in dry? You're actually using a bit of lube? Jace has already turfed the first of the seals, well, the first one he took out, which was number 8. And the top seal into the O-ring, into the fuel rail, had just sort of disintegrated. Oh, yeah, look like that. I would actually suggest that when that was changed originally, in 2015, that it was pushed in dry. It's been sitting like that, and then we just moved it enough when we were doing the starter motor.
It didn't leak.
Yeah, and it didn't leak.
Well,
it was just really lucky.
Well, it didn't, like, we fired up the other day, it didn't leak.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of...
Well, that's rubber.
Was.
Once upon a time.
These are really hard to get off. Like, almost need to put a screw on it. Oh, look, oh, splitting. Split.
Just... Oh, the bottom ones are actually hard too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's after 5 years, because I'm fairly certain they were changed at that time. Can you show me the new one? Because you can see the people have trouble with this because they've got like the little lip. They look like they're moulded. But that's just from being in service. That's good. So that's a new one. It's just flat edges. That's one that's been in service for 5 years. And it's looks like it's moulded, but it isn't. It's just indented from having an injector sitting on it. Right, that's that sorted. Oh, there you go. Thanks.
Hello.
Well, I want to see what this belt looks like.
Like a belt.
Because it had a fluffy edge. Talk to Alex. We are putting a new alternator on it.
Okay.
Can you slide that other side up for me? Oh, the dogs chasing rats.
It's quite dark in here.
I wasn't comfortable with you reaching like that.
I'm going for that.
What we got? What's that bit you're sitting by there? Something's definitely gone in there, eh? Something's been rubbing on it.
So that's that bit of rubber you found sticking in there.
It could well have been just that bit of rubber.
There can't see anything else in there.
There's dirt.
Well, that's fucking pretty normal.
On a 4-wheel drive, absolutely.
You see the rest of the vehicle?
Yeah, it gets a bit of mud. It definitely sees mud. I think we should use that set of seals, the gasket seals, or the front cover seals for this job. I put them here I kept them for a special occasion. There's no, like on here, eh? On the surface anywhere. Fluffy. It's fluffy on the other side.
It's a bit of pulled out.
It's fluffy on both sides.
Yeah. That looks okay, hasn't it?
Got the right tension on it, that's lubed. Nothing nasty in there, eh? At all?
I can see a bit of mud down the bottom, but...
Is that plugged in?
Yeah, it's a thin air.
Alright, we can ditch that then, get that out of there.
I was going to because it's a pain in the ass.
Probably doing it wrong if it's near your ass. I chose not to film that piece. Well, put a belt on it. What do you reckon this cam sensor? It looks like it's had a life, eh? I think we'll do a cam sensor too, eh? Yep. We'll get it just because of that tape and stuff on it. It's just not worth the risk. It's a long push out of the bush.
Just put that on it.
New one of those because the other one was kind of crappy. A new one of those because the other one was fluffy. And look at that, new seals for around all the cam belt covers. So Jace will fit all those up. You don't have a choice, not optional.
I do have a choice.
And
I have a choice.
yeah, new alternator. Are you using the antifreeze bucket just in case you drop any bolts? Because they'll all go in there.
They're all in there.
They'll all be in there.
No, there's bolts in there.
In that bucket.
There's bolts in
Every single one that you drop.
No, there's not. There's one in there that didn't miss. Look, there's one down there. See it?
Oh, you missed?
And with the cover.
Oh, bugger. That's not usual. Normally they go in the bucket.
No, there's one in the bucket.
They normally all go in the bucket.
There's one in the bucket.
Yeah, good. Oh. Did he have it welded up?
I don't know.
Is it putty? I'm not going to squeeze it. I'm not going to drill it to find out. Very good. Continue. Timing belt is on. One thing that's really, really important after putting your timing belt on is to do 2 revolutions of the crankshaft. That'll bring the camshafts around 1 revolution and recheck your timing marks. And I see this so often that guys don't do this and they get their cam timing wrong. So that's something that's really, really important. The marks, pretty obvious on these, but at the same time, the rotors need to go on the correct way as well. And I see this a lot where guys slam the rotors on incorrectly. They've got a little dimple in them. It's got to line up like it should. So this is the left hand. There's the mark there. There's the mark there. Timing belt through here and through here. We are using the factory timing belt. So it's a Toyota belt, so it does have arrows on it and lines on it.
Where is it?
You know she's going to be barking.
Yeah.
You're going to get her fired up and she's going to spend the day barking at something. Which she thinks it's in there.
That's enough.
She is going to think there's something in there. we're going to have a bit of a look inside the power steer pumps. So this motor is actually a replacement for a truck that had a bent rod. Hilux, big tyres, and stuffed power steer pump. Fortunately, with the replacement engine, we got another pump we could pull apart and rebuild. This pump here is off Brendan's supercharged Hilux. Yeah, we can tell it's Brendan's for the amount of mud, and we could probably forensically analyse the mud for the New Zealand off-road places he's been. We have a look at right in here. We can see lots of scoring. She's been pretty hot. The vanes still actually move, which is a good sign. They sometimes get to a point where those vanes are stuck. And then this center plate here, big grooves on it. Now these can be machined, but the problem we see is they get hot spots in it. And then we have issues because it doesn't machine nicely. What's this body like? Bit of scoring. Yeah, pretty scored up in the body as well. And when they get like that, they do come back to life with a rebuild, but they're never as good as they should be. They're always going to give trouble. So I bin them, I throw them out. And Alex's one suffered the same fate. What was really interesting in Alex's is we had a whole lot of build up. There it is. Look at this gunge and build up on the back of the inside the pump. And it just shows that it hasn't had enough flushes of the power steer fluid. It's all gungy and yucky, and it's been hot. This one's got a really good hot spot. You can see just there in the dark colour. See if we can get that in there. There we go. That's so a heat spot. And again, oh, there we go. We've got a nice big heat spot running around there. So it's been super hot. So again, throw away. Start with a reasonable core and fix it, repair it, put a kit through it, replace the front bearing, and it all goes back on the truck. You can see why we flush the systems before we pull the pump off, because we want to get that metal that's been floating around in there out of the truck before we put a new pump in it and feed metal back through it. So we flush the power steering and it gets new fluid and bled up once it goes back on. Jace is going to fit this up. He's going to slam a radiator back in once it's cleaned. The radiator's got a bit of dirt and crap in it as well. And then we are allowed to go light four-wheel driving. Light. You got that? You notice I said light four-wheel driving, Jason. Light. I know how Alex drives it. And he's not as nutty as Brendan, but he likes to climb, and that truck's very capable. So we're not going to drive it like Alex does, but we're going to drive it lightly. Lightly.
Quite heavy, so.
You're quite heavy. Yeah. And hopefully your fat fingers can get in here.
Get on that one.
Yeah, well, the other one's not too bad. It had something funny. It had a bolt instead of a stud, too, for holding it on.
Can you see when it's full? Because I can't, since you're on the ladder.
And we don't really want to spill power steer over the new
Alternator.
new alternator, no. It's about halfway now. So you got the new cam belt all done. That's all nice. You got the injector seals done. Belt's gone in. Oh, the pump's gone in. Do you want me to do it? It's because I can get it a bit faster.
I can't really do it up.
You're about, oh yeah. You got all the dirt out of the radiator because it was full, chocker.
Oh, most of it, yeah.
We probably should just slow down there, Jace. That's probably enough. Just, oh. I was going to say give it a flick with the key, but you probably can't.
No, I haven't put the battery in yet.
No.
Is there a hold down for that?
No, there was no hold down. Hence light forward driving because there's no hold down.
That was the rubber was
That was the rubber for. Yeah. Gravity's working. It was the shrink wrap falling off. It just rolled down the lid. Yep, there's the back of Alex's pump. Isn't it fantastic? More oil changes required in the power steering. Good working. We're going forward driving.
I'm not working. I'm washing my hands so you can go forward driving.
Wasn't you?
Wasn't me.
Yeah. What's that? You driving?
This weird double tap thing.
No, no, that's strange.
You
You want to go that way?
Yeah, we'll face it this way.
So we popped the power steer pump on, we being Jason did, and then we bleed up the system. Jace, how do you bleed up the system on this?
For the boil started pretty much.
Yep.
We'll turn it off for a while, let the air settle down.
Correct. And that's pretty important. So we start it and it'll froth up the oil and fill it full of air. You just turn it off and you bugger off for 5 minutes, come back and it's lovely. Top it up and we've got steering like it should have.
There's some lights on.
Yeah, that's dark. We need lights.
That noise in the front is quite good.
What's the noise in the back?
No, it's from the front. It's something flopping around the front. This is where old mate was a little excited.
Through the puddle? Yep. So we had a guy turn up this morning to pick up an ECU. We don't have customers at the workshop very often. It's appointment only to come to our workshop. He had booked in and he brought his old man with him who was blind. So Alex, hope you don't mind, but we took the man for a drive in your truck. He couldn't see where he was going, but he could feel it and he had a great time, and it was his birthday. Oh, we can do that. We'll do the A-track, eh?
A-track?
A-track, up the hill.
Sure, okay.
How's that for a tractor?
Oh, it's a full drive high.
Second gear.
Second gear.
I'll have an escape.
Guess we're going up here.
We're going up here. Have you been up here?
No.
You haven't been up here?
We have the Z's up here?
Yeah, we took the Zooks up here. Yeah, we did a video up on the top of this hill up here.
It's quite slippery.
Yes. Could have brought the rifle, there's a hare running along there. We going up there? You keen?
If we up the bank.
Up the middle. Up the gap. There's big marks down the paddock. Does it make a mess, man?
Was it?
Yep.
I wasn't even up it either.
Look at that day. Yeah. So normally on a descent you use a low gear.
I'm in a low gear, but we should put a low box.
Yeah, low box. Were you in?
Still a high box.
Still a high box.
There we go.
Yeah, now we're probably go high gear, don't we? Dunk, dunk. I found the rattle. Did you hear one of the rattles?
Yeah, that's a spare tire thing.
Yeah. I was actually going back through some of my photos, and on the Cartoon Company page there were photos of this one.
Oh yeah?
On the photo album, yeah. Damien's Hilux, or Damien's Surf. At this point we do need to ensure that we keep it on its wheels.
Not intending to put it on its roof.
Yeah, good.
Being careful.
Hopefully.
What's been up here? Let's see.
Cattle. Oh, no, that's the mule.
What's a mule?
That's the muley.
Mule.
Are we going down this way? Or are we going that way?
But it's easier.
The easier is that way, but more fun's this way. You'll get down here. Yeah, check it.
I was already telling you this way.
So this one was actually really, really flat, up at 100 k's an hour.
Alright.
So it might get you to just, I'll jump out at the workshop, I'll continue working, you can go for a spin up the road, just up the passing lanes are back. You'll soon know if it's not right.
It feels pretty good.
That was close. You almost got me.
Did I?
Yeah. How's that? Good running into the end of the day. Go forward driving. Hubs are done.